They banned his urgent roof repair for no permission. HOA fines $400. Emergency ignored. Chaos erupts. In the well-maintained neighborhood of Pinewood Hills, Tennessee, where homes stood in perfect harmony, 35-year-old high school teacher Marcus Evans faced a crisis. Marcus, a married man with two daughters aged 7 and 9, lived in his $280,000 home since 2021, taking pride in its upkeep. On March 10, 2025, a severe storm swept through, tearing shingles off his roof and causing a leak that flooded the girl's bedroom, damaging furniture worth $1,200. Water stains spread across the ceiling, and mold began forming within days, posing a health risk. Marcus immediately called a roofing contractor, who quoted $5,000 for an emergency repair to replace the shingles and seal the leak. With rain forecast again, Marcus approved the work, believing the urgency trumped any HOA process, though he planned to notify them after the repair. But the Pinewood Hills Homeowners Association saw the repair as a violation. The HOA president, 63-year-old Harold Bennett, a retired contractor with a rigid sense of procedure, was alerted by a neighbor who noticed the roofing crew at work. Harold reviewed the bylaws, focusing on a rule that stated, all exterior repairs, including roofs, must be pre-approved by the HOA, with a $400 fine per violation for noncompliance. Though the rule allowed for emergency exceptions with retroactive approval, Harold enforced it strictly, halting Marcus's repair mid-process on March 12th, when half the shingles were replaced. He saw it as a chance to assert control, ignoring the emergency and the impending rain. On March 12th, a drizzly morning, Harold arrived with an HOA inspector as the roofing crew worked. He demanded they stop, citing the lack of pre-approval, and issued a $400 fine notice on the spot for unapproved repair. The letter also warned of an $800 fine for a second offense if work continued without permission. Marcus was stunned. The leak was active, and stopping meant more damage. He explained the storm, the mold risk, and offered to submit retroactive approval, showing photos of the damage. He begged Harold to let the crew finish before the rain, but Harold was unyielding. You needed approval, he snapped. Stop now, or pay more. Marcus applied for retroactive approval, submitting contractor invoices and damage photos. But the HOA board, under Harold's influence, rejected it, claiming the repair changed the roof's look, despite using matching shingles. The delay caused havoc. On March 14th, another storm hit, and the half-repaired roof leaked worse, flooding the girls' room again and ruining their mattresses, costing $800 to replace. Mold spread further, forcing the family to sleep in the living room, while Marcus scrambled to mitigate the damage with tarps. Harold returned that day, issuing a second $800 fine, totaling $1,200, and a notice to halt all repairs until approval was granted, a process that could take weeks. Marcus filmed the flooded room, the tarps, and the fines, posting it on X with the caption, HOA, stop my emergency roof repair. Fined $1,200, house flooded. Roof repair ban. The video went viral, gaining 19 million views in 48 hours, with the hashtag trending nationwide. Outrage erupted, with users calling the HOA cruel and reckless. Nashville news stations covered it, interviewing a desperate Marcus, who said, my kids can't sleep safely. They're ignoring an emergency. A housing expert on air criticized the HOA's rigidity, noting Tennessee law allows emergency repairs without prior approval in such cases. The community rallied behind Marcus. A neighbor, 30-year-old plumber Jake Ellis, organized a protest outside the HOA office, where dozens gathered with buckets and signs reading, Fix roofs, not rules, and Stop HOA neglect. Some poured water on the ground to symbolize leaks, demanding change. A GoFundMe to help Marcus cover the fines and repairs raised $15,000 in a week, with donors leaving messages like, this is inhumane, and justice for Marcus. The story gained regional attention, with outlets like WSMV and the Tennessean running headlines like, HOA halts emergency roof repair, fines $1,200, and Tennessee dad battles HOA after storm damage. Marcus sued the HOA, determined to finish his repair and seek justice. He hired lawyer Emily Carter, who argued that the HOA's actions constituted negligence, financial distress, and a violation of Tennessee law, which permits emergency repairs without prior approval when health and safety are at risk. The lawsuit sought $20,000 in damages, the removal of fines, and an injunction to allow the repair. The courtroom filled with supporters holding tarps in solidarity. Emily presented Marcus's video, contractor reports, and mold tests showing health risks. Marcus took the stand, his voice breaking. "My family's home is ruined. They stopped us from fixing it." Harold, representing the HOA, showed no remorse. He claimed the approval rule was to ensure consistency and that Marcus's failure to pre-approve justified the fines, arguing the HOA had the right to enforce its standards, even in emergencies. The judge, a strict interpreter of HOA contracts, ruled in favor of the HOA, stating the bylaw was binding and Marcus should have sought approval despite the emergency clause. The fines were upheld, totaling $1,200, and Marcus was ordered to pay $6,000 in HOA legal fees. Marcus left the courtroom, his daughters clinging to him, the financial burden and ongoing leaks a crushing defeat. He spent another $2,000 on temporary fixes while awaiting approval. The ruling sparked online outrage, with number sign roof repair ban trending again, fueling calls for HOA reform. Housing advocacy groups condemned the decision, arguing it endangered families. In Pinewood Hills, Harold tightened rules, requiring 30-day approval windows for all repairs, with fines raised to $600. Marcus finally got approval in April, but the delays cost $4,000 in extra damages, and his daughters developed allergies from the mold. Pinewood Hills, once a safe haven, became a battleground, with residents fearing HOA overreach during emergencies. So, who's right? Marcus and his urgent repair, or the HOA's approval rule? Share your thoughts below. Please share this video, subscribe to the channel for more HOA madness, and let's keep the fight alive. Thank you for your support. TOG.